America is truly a nation in mourning.
New details tonight about the gunman involved in the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history. Tonight, investigators say the shooter, who killed dozens and hurt hundreds on the Las Vegas Strip, had an escape plan.
We continue our Team 12 coverage of this shooting. We'll get to Brittany Thomason in a minute, who was at an event here in Wichita to honor the victims. Let's start with Jacob Albrocht, who has been in Las Vegas all week long, bringing you the latest details. He joins us live from what we're learning tonight. Jacob?
Mike, Melissa, tonight we're learning more about some of those victims. In fact, we're getting more exact numbers. The Clark County Sheriff's Department telling us within the last few hours, 489 people officially hurt during the shooting. 317 of those people have been discharged from Las Vegas hospitals. The death toll remains at 59, including the gunman, Stephen Paddock. Investigators also released a timeline of what they say happened on Sunday night. They say the gunman fired his first shots at 10:05 on Sunday. Body camera video suggesting the last shots were fired about 10 minutes later. 2 minutes after that, officers reached the 32nd floor of Mandalay Bay, where the shooter was staying. From 10:26 to 10:30, officers cleared all of the rooms on that floor because they no longer heard gunfire. And then around an hour later, they breached into the suspect's room where he was dead. They also revealed tonight the suspect did have a plan to escape, but they did not reveal very many details about that.
Stephen Paddock is a man who spent decades acquiring weapons and ammo and living a secret life, much of which will never be fully understood. He meticulously planned on the worst domestic attack in United States history.
During his trip to Las Vegas, President Donald Trump and the First Lady met with survivors of the shooting. The president also meeting with first responders who ran toward the gunfire and helped people get to safety.
But you showed the world, and the world is watching, and you showed what professionalism is all about.
Now, we've heard about the first responders and their amazing response. One of the most amazing things we've heard since we've been here are all the stories of the heroes who are not first responders, just concert goers there when the gunshots started that began to help those people around them. We spoke with one man in particular. He shared his story with us. He says his instinct just kicked in when the shots were fired, but it's more than that. It's a story of a local hero.
We heard very loud popping, so we thought maybe it was a power malfunction, something going on with the power lines overhead.
First came the sound.
Then you hear the music stop, a lot of screaming, and then immediately security came over and instructed everybody to get behind this one bus.
Then came the realization of what was happening.
We have an active shooter. We have an active shooter inside the warehouse.
First, it was someone who had been shot in her foot, and then someone who had been shot in their shoulder. Then a gentleman who was shot in his back, then someone who was shot in the chest. And they just kept coming, and it became real.
Christian Luneau was backstage when the first shots were fired, and when he and others saw wounded people running toward them, he says instinct kicked in.
Men were taking off their belts, taking off their shirts, creating tourniquets, creating compresses, and addressing whatever we could. We cleared out a couple of the production offices and started triaging the more serious ones there.
As soon as it appeared the gunfire was over, he and his brother rushed out into the main concert area to help there.
One person had found a wheelbarrow, and we had placed somebody in a wheelbarrow so that he could be evacuated out. We also took some bike racks, flipped them on their side, and made them into makeshift backboards and put victims there.
Then, one of the most difficult tasks.
That was a process of going through and feeling for pulses, and if we couldn't identify any signs of life, we would take a hat and cover their face with a hat. And later on, we would find banners, banners that advertised food or alcoholic drinks, and we would cover their entire bodies with that.
Luneau says there was no time to think, only react, all while dealing with trying to figure out what exactly was happening.
My father's text messaging me, telling me to find a dead body and to go play dead and hide under a dead body in case there is a person on foot.
Looking back, he says he's amazed by the work he saw from first responders.
The police who had flanked us and protected our groups, the security guards, the EMTs, they were all immediately in there and really rolling up their sleeves to take control of the situation, and I commend them for that.
Luneau says he does have first aid training, but that his certification has lapsed. Not that it matters. His efforts Sunday night, no doubt, saved lives. Just one story of the best of humanity shining through in the worst of times. Trevor Macy's also in Las Vegas. He shares the story of one Great Bend woman who was at the concert as she searches for the man she says helped save her life.
On the other side of this gas station is the venue where Caitlin Hillegeist of Great Bend was Sunday night. She was at the concert just across the street from where the shooter started opening fire. She and her family found themselves caught in the crossfire, and now she's trying to locate the stranger that helped save her life. Caitlin took this picture of a man who helped get her to safety after gunfire erupted Sunday night. She said she could feel bullets flying past her as she ran. She was separated from her uncle and cousin when a stranger helped get her to safety. She reunited with her family and is now safely home in Great Bend, but now she wants to find the stranger who helped her.
I would thank him so much because I was just so scared and alone, and I didn't know what to do. And he helped me, and I don't know if he realizes how much it meant to me.
In Las Vegas, Trevor Macy, Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Trevor. Back in Wichita, a group called Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America remembers the shooting victims in Las Vegas. That group gathered in Old Town Square tonight, where they also shared their views on gun legislation. Brittany Thomason was at that event and joins us live to explain why some people do not agree with that group's message.
Jacob, the group met here in Old Town. They began by reading off names of victims, but things quickly turned into an argument.
Criminals who just come when there's a camera. Are the ones that are breaking the law.
One man came to the rally, but he didn't agree with the message.
You're not letting nobody's voice be heard.
The group began the event by reading off victim names.
Sunny Melton.
And having a moment of silence.
And I feel like after a tragedy like this, it's really important for us to have a presence and gather as a community and support the victims.
Speakers like Wichita City Council member Levanta Williams spoke, calling for change.
I'm not trying to take away anyone's NRA rights. I don't want to do that. But I do want to speak about the rights of a child that could be hit or could be hurt.
It was as speakers started a conversation about changing legislation when this man chimed in.
Criminals don't listen to laws anyway.
Many of you watched this event on Facebook Live. Several of you commented saying you don't think stricter gun legislation is the answer because the problem is with people, not guns. Jacob?
All right, thank you, Brittany. Politics aside, this story has touched the lives of so many people here in Las Vegas. The locals almost all telling us that they're just ready for their city to get back to some normalcy. We're beginning to see that tonight. Just this sidewalk where we've been all week long, which is nearby the Mandalay Bay, now full of pedestrians, tourists, people coming to and from work, and of course the memorials. This one we're showing you now, the largest gathering of people that we've seen. They've been there all day long. Tonight, they're lighting candles to remember those victims. That's been the focus and will remain the focus here in Las Vegas for some time.
After seeing widespread rain earlier today, we're catching a little bit of a break in Kansas tonight. HD Super Doppler shows we've got some showers off to the east of Kansas, some to our south, and a few showers out in eastern Colorado, which in the last hour have started to die out. So what I'm expecting for the rest of the night is just some areas of drizzle and some dense fog that will likely be setting up early tomorrow morning, just in time for the morning drive. The rainfall amount we saw today in Salina, we have not seen anything like this in a 24-hour period all year long. We pick up almost 3 inches of rain, but look at this. For the year, still almost 5 inches below average on precipitation. Now here's a look at the dense fog advisory for early Thursday morning. You'll want to set your alarm clock a little bit early tomorrow morning because visibility will likely be starting out under 1 mile in central and western Kansas, and this could be expanded into the Wichita metro area, as I'm expecting a little bit of fog to start our day tomorrow as well. We've issued a Storm Team 12 weather alert day for Friday, expecting more thunderstorms and the possibility of severe weather too. Wait until you see how much rain could fall between now and the start of your weekend, and changing temperatures too on the way. The rest of your Storm Team 12 forecast just minutes away.
Thanks, Ross. Congressman Ron Estes' office changing a policy after some expressed concerns over how a meeting was portrayed. Estes' office tells us former Congressman and now lobbyist Connie Mack asked to have a room reserved in the Capitol for a meeting. That's common. Staff member booked it for Mac, but Estes wasn't able to attend. Estes's office says it doesn't know what happened in the meeting, but knew it was about Ukrainian banking. An online news site then wrote that Ukrainian media reported a lot of incorrect information about the meeting and misrepresented what happened. Hearing the concern, Estes's office decided to change its policy.
We've changed our policy that we're not going to reserve rooms in the future unless I can be there to make sure I observe what happens and be visible in that.
Estes says congressmen from all parties get these requests often and typically approve them to allow groups to meet and present viewpoints. A woman accused of beheading another woman in April will now have a second mental evaluation. Rachel Hilliard was back in court today. A judge says he wants a second opinion on her mental health status. ComCare evaluated her and deemed her competent to stand trial. In April, someone found Mickey Davis decapitated inside her home. Investigators say police found Hilliard hiding inside the house and immediately arrested her.
Man's best friend could be making you sick. What you need to know about an outbreak spreading across the country, including right here in Kansas.
Whether it's leaky pipes, cracks in your gutters, or any other problem that can cause water to get in, fixing that can be pretty important. The makers of the Flex Tape say their product can handle even the toughest of leaks.
Expect more from KWCH 12. This is Eyewitness News at 10 in high definition. Online at kwch.com. Follow KWCH on Facebook and Twitter.